time it is, and you know who it is. This is the Bold Sports Show, as tradition. That's Mr. KC. I'm that dude with the beard. And man, we are presenting to you the first ever Bold Sports Show mock draft. And I know you're thinking the first ever. Yeah, it's really the first ever. It's the first time we've ever done it to give it to y'all. Private quarters, closed circles. We've done it. This is for y'all. Mr. KC, what's cracking, my guy?
Oh, getting excited for the return of football, something to talk about. You get a little bit of that little sniff after the NFL Combine, give you a little maybe football's coming back, and nothing like the draft to get you awake for the season to start.
Oh yeah, that's nothing but the truth and the whole truth. And we don't need no help because we bold. We know what's going on. That those are nothing but facts. And like my boy Let's say, shout out to him. It was as good as gospel. Um, this is the mock draft, ladies and gentlemen. Highly anticipated. Um, top tier athletes, a lot of blue chippers, um, game changers for certain teams coming up in this draft. And me and Mr. Casey are going to give you our rendition. This is our first edition. We will be dropping more, and we will have a finale mock draft, of course, the week of the draft. Um, Mr. KC, before we jump into this mock draft, anything you want to get off your chest about the preseason, off season, everything culminating, or do we just need to dive on in?
I think we need to just dive on in. The anticipation is, the clock's on the board. We got a kind of consensus first round, very first pick, I think. But I think this is going to be an exciting draft.
Oh yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, we definitely have the same first overall pick. Um, as tradition, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna give it to you bold and raw, straight out the gullet. Mr. KC is gonna walk us through it as tradition, and we're gonna get into this thing. Let's do it. Mr.
Yeah,
KC, who who
obviously, the
who?
Las Vegas Raiders are going to give you Fernando Mendoza. Like it's just they're going to go try to lock up the only quarterback really worth talking about in the first round, and even then, kind of questionable on any other draft year if you're going first overall with him. But if you're going to get a quarterback, this is your opportunity, and they need it.
Yeah, this is definitely their opportunity. This is their time to finally get something stable at quarterback, at least for the foreseeable future. Even though they did get my boy Kirk O'Chains to kind of tutor him for a little while, so I think stability has already been brought to the position, but now they'll have security for the future, so to speak. And shout out to the Big Ten. Shout out to Fernando Mendoza in Indiana for doing their thing, man. Look, they beat my Buckeyes, and look, you know me. I only give kudos as when it's earned, and shout out to them, and shout out to that whole team, man. Everybody on that team and everything they did in the college playoff. He's more than deserving to be the first number one overall pick. I don't know too much else to say about it. It's Fernando Mendoza.
Yeah, Mendoza all day long. I'm there with you there. Let's go to number two, the Jets. And I've got Reese, the linebacker from the Ohio State, the first Ohio State guy off the board. And really talk about, you got arguments for the best player on the board. Welcome to the Jets. Congratulations on that.
Oh man, Arvell Reef. Don't get me wrong, that is my dog. He is an absolute beast. Um, I would argue though, as far as being the best defender in the draft, I think that's reserved for a different Buckeye, but that'll be a different conversation for another time. Arlo Reese, without a shadow of a doubt, is a monster. Great at outside linebacker. He is adequate at the pass rush, still learning it. But I've seen him play, and Ohio State's my stomping ground, so to speak. So um, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jets win Arvell Reese there. I would not be, but I have a different player going in number two. from the Miami Hurricanes, Ruben Bain is going number 2 overall. They need somebody who's got that real dog mentality. I'm not saying all real doesn't have it, but I'm saying that they're putting out enough of these arm length reports and all this other stuff just to deter certain things. But Aaron Donald didn't have the longest arms. I've seen dogs, and usually little dogs still got a lot of bark and a lot of bite. So Ruben Bain is heading to the Jets.
I mean, I ain't gonna say nothing bad about Bane. That's all I got on that one. Let's go number 3, Arizona Cardinals. I've got them going with Mayuga, the offensive tackle. Think you try to build for the future? Go ahead, shore up the offensive line the best you can, and enjoy another high pick next season.
Ooh, look, they definitely need a lot of positions filled, a lot of spots. Um, that's not a bad pick. They could definitely use the help on the line, especially, fielding a new quarterback and getting the receivers and everything time to get open and solidifying the run game. But they also need a lot of help on defense. And this is where an Ohio State Buckeye comes off the board. Arvell Reese, he goes on over to Arizona and he gives them something that they desperately need on defense, whether it be at linebacker or at DN, and purely pass rush after proper training. Mix of both. He's versatile. This is where he goes. This is where he's going to be most effective immediately.
I mean, not a bad choice. If he's on the board, that's a quick run to the stadium or podium if you ask me.
You got to go
Uh,
with a top tier athlete, a blue chipper right off the block. Like you said, who you think is one of the best defenders, if not the best one in the draft. Right. You see what I'm saying? Like you run to the podium. As soon as you're on the clock, the pick should be in. So, well, we'll do that because they need it. They need
might be the fastest pick off the board tonight. Let's go
it.
number 4. Tennessee Titans. I've got Jeremiah Love going there to help Cam Ward, help the young quarterback take some pressure off the load. Look, I think this could be a dynamic combination to really help out Ward too, really develop him.
No, for sure. And we'll take a quick moment. I see we have a few comments. We'll shout out to Alex and Totes. Hello there, and thank you for tuning in, and everybody in the comments, all that jazz. Um, I'm right there with you. He goes to the Titans. Jeremiah Love. That's my pick as well at number 4. Um, like you said, Cam Ward needs some adequate help, and why not build a dynamic run game in Tennessee? This could be a better shades of Vince Young and Chris Johnson. You know what I'm saying? Like we could have a serious situation going on down in Tennessee. So I like that pick for them. Jeremiah Love's versatile. He can catch. He can do everything. He reminds me of a bigger version of Jamal Charles. Maybe just not as fast, but definitely as skilled.
Yeah, I think it's a dream pick for the Chiefs, but unfortunately, he's just off the board. Like you got to
He's
take him.
he's gone. There's no way he falls tonight. Absolutely. And there's not a trade in the world that I don't think anybody 1 through 4 would make that they could offer. That's a sensible offer. Let me say that. People can do strange things. And like I said, I semi trust Veach. I'm not all the way on the in Veach we trust bandwagon, as you all know. But he's missed on a lot of picks. Braylon speaks. So anyway, let's go ahead and go on to the next one here.
Number 5, the New York Giants. And I've got another Ohio State guy coming right off.
Ooh, Sonny Styles, huh? Linebacker? Okay.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not gonna argue with
Dog.
that. They could definitely use it. Uh he's an absolute dog. The athletics is off the charts. I've watched him play. There's not a tackle that he can't make. He only missed 2 tackles last year. So he's an absolute beast. Probably the best pure athlete in the draft, to be honest with you. Um, without a shadow of a
Right.
doubt. And his brother's nothing to sneeze at either. He's somebody I got mocked in a later draft. Uh, but yeah, no, that's a solid pick. But I have a different Buckeye heading to the Giants by the way of wide receiver Carnell Tate. I believe that they need more help for Malik Neighbors. I believe they're going to give Jackson Dart another weapon so they can further advance that offense because their D line is pretty solid already. They have a solid front. As far as what they need on offense, you combine Carnell Tate with Neighbors and Scatterboo healthy, the Giants' offense. And you know what I always say: when the Giants are good, football is better. So, uh, shout out to Carnell Tate. I believe he is headed to New York.
New York. Yeah, I mean, that'd be a very interesting pick. And I can, I was tempted to go wide receiver there for New York, but uh, I know just Styles is just, when you talk about just pure abilities, man, he checks a lot of boxes.
Oh, for
All right,
sure. Without a shadow of a doubt.
yeah, number 6, we're gonna go Cleveland Browns. I'm gonna go wide receiver Lamont. We're going. They're going to try to help out Sanders, try to electrify the offense a little bit, and I think he checks off a lot of boxes in the wide receiver department for me. One of there's not crazy depth at wide receiver, but for the ones that are there available, I really like him. I think he's got a lot to offer, and he's definitely a weird character, but I don't think you've ever met a wide receiver that's good that isn't. And so maybe that's a good sign. You might have been letting something loose in that little interview, letting everybody know it's time to put a little respect on your boy's name. 'Cause the best ones are crazy.
Yeah, no, without a doubt, the best receivers do have a lot of personality, and I'm right there with you. That's exactly my sixth round pick as well, Makai Lemon. Um, as far as receivers, I think he is probably the most complete as far as just ready to plug and play. I believe Cardell Tate is still the most talented receiver. Also, a man who didn't drop a pass last year in Cardell Tate. That's another story. But Makai Lemon is definitely nothing to sneeze at. Excellent route runner. Um, excellent yards after the catch. I mean, an absolute great number one for your team coming in.
Mm, yeah. Who you got?
I'm sorry, I have Makai Lemon too. I have him too. Oh, yeah,
Not
yes.
cool. Look at us hit it. It's nice to hit them together. My bad.
Yeah,
Uh,
yes.
Number 8, or no, excuse me, number 7. We have trouble counting to 10 here. We have the Washington Commanders. Almost messed that up. Now I've got them going with Tate. I think they're gonna see the value there on the board and take it. It's hard not to add to it. I think the offense looked like it was missing a couple things last season. And while you have that young quarterback, take advantage, get that offense going. This is an offensive driven league. Get right, get Tate. He's there, you do it.
Well, I'll never be mad at a Buckeye going, and especially linking up with another Buckeye with Scary Terry out there. You get two Buckeye receivers. Ooh wee! That offense is gonna be nasty. We and that's a solid pick. I actually went a different way on that one here. I actually got them taking a different Buckeye. I have Sonny Styles going to the Washington Commanders to solidify that defense, which now features Leo Chanel. Shout out to you, man, Forever Chief, champion, man. I, I already miss you dearly, man. If it was up to me, Nick Bolton would have been gone. I would have kept you, Leo. That's just me, though. But no, I think Sonny Styles goes there. I think he solidifies the defense for them. He gives them a guy who they know is a short tackler, like we talked about, a guy who's super athletic, an absolute stud. Um, they need him, and if he's there, that's where they're going to go.
I don't blame him for taking him. That's for dang sure. And number 8, we have the New Orleans Saints. And I've got them going with Bailey.
Yeah, sir. I'm sorry I had to because I have been taking David Bailey as well, dude. Like, dude, what? See, this is the bold prediction sports show, ladies and gentlemen. Like, we're always in sync. We go with bold picks, but we're making logical picks, and that's what makes them so bold. They are definitely in need of a pass rusher. They're like they're on they might be on the verge of losing Cam Jordan. You got to replace 10.5 sack of production already, and who's better to do that than the most absolute best, and just as far as pure pass rusher in the draft, and David Bailey. Like he's always around the quarterback. You can count on that. I love that pick. We are in total agreement with David Bailey going number 8.
Number 9, drum roll please for the Chiefs fans. I've got Ruben Bain coming to Kansas City. Sure enough, that defense giving us a little edge rush there. And I'm excited to welcome him into Kansas City. And I think he'll enjoy his time adding a few rings to this young man's fingers.
Whew. I have to disagree. As far as Ruben Bain in Kansas City, I don't think his mold really fits. But Kansas City do like people with short arms and little hands because they got Nick Bolton. So I mean, it is a definite possibility. But knowing Steve Spagnuolo, knowing what he likes, and knowing what he's lost in the secondary, I have the Kansas City Chiefs selecting an Ohio State Buckeye, Caleb Downs, the best safety in the draft, a three-level player. I mean, he can play on the line, linebacker, and safety. He is by far the best Buckeye defender available in the draft. Not might not be his height, but definitely by far the best. And trust me, I've given the eye test. Two Ivy League blue chip schools with major success. We talk about a dude who's always around the football in any highlight clip you pull up, any game film you watch. Caleb Downs is the pick that the Kansas City Chiefs will make at number 9 to help solidify the secondary that lost so much because you get a guy who can do absolutely everything. This is Eric Berry 3.0. This is Sean Taylor Jr. Like this dude is Ed Reed the second. If there's already one the third, then this dude Caleb Downs is serious business, and he will be a Kansas City Chief at 9.
And look, I actually don't hate that pick. I've seen a few mock drafts go a few different ways, and I've just been like, I absolutely don't like it. And I really, in my mind, do not want someone in the secondary with pick 9 unless his name is Caleb Downs. That is the only
Exactly.
way, because it's one of those like, even though I don't think it's the direction we need to go, you can't argue with this tape. Like it's not a bad pick. And if you're going best player available, I've seen a lot of mock drafts where, and honestly, if Bain's not available, that was my pick. So I got lucky that my board fell, and as you seen, your board did not fall for Bain to come here. So if Bain did not, if Bain went your way, Downs is the way I would go as well.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt. Like, but there's without a doubt that's the only player I would take at 9 if none of the other guys were available. Um, he- like I said, he's an you rarely hear the term. He's an all-world talent. Like, dude, he's the coming of a new age of safety. Like Kyle Hamilton extended. Like we've seen certain guys come in and be really good. This dude is going to be great.
Yeah, an elite safety play is one of those things that does win you Super Bowls. So you do need to, like, it is one of those. We always talk about the cornerback and when it comes to the secondary, but you start looking at uh, the teams with elite safeties and legitimate safeties, and those are the teams that do very well deep into the postseason. Like
Exactly.
Tyrann Mathieu was He's a legend all by himself, and it's never been a shortage. So
Right.
we'll see. All right, number 10, we got the Bengals, and I've got them going with Caleb Downs. I think they've already.
Ooh.
That's why I was. We talked before the show, and I said I only have one Ohio State guy before us, and you were wondering who that was. That was the last guy that was there, and you just I went edge instead of secondary.
No, that's not a bad pick. Like you said, the world just heard what I said about Caleb Downs. Who's ever smart enough to get him is going to get a guy who is an instant game changer. He's a tide turner. He's a guy who's going to solidify your defense. And dude, there's not enough I can say about it. Like yeah, I have them actually going with the 10th pick, still in their defense where they really needed that corner with Mansour Delane, LSU. Um, they definitely need help in the secondary. We both had the same idea. Uh, I
Mm.
think though they go with probably the best island esque corner in the game. I mean, well, not in the game, but in the draft here. A guy who you can really count on to just leave him out there. Who wherever if you need him to follow a guy, he can do it. If you need him to shut down the side, he can do it. He's an absolute beast, and I think that's where they go with that pick.
Yeah, I can see that.
Oh yeah.
Number 11, we got Miami Dolphins. I've got Jordan Tyson going wide
Ooh.
receiver. There's been a run on wide receivers, so this isn't really the world's greatest choice, but you ran out of wide receivers in Miami, and I don't know what you plan on doing with this dumpster fire that you've got going on in Miami, but it's about to get real ugly real quick, and I hope that this can at least be a shining star in the night or something.
They definitely need help at wide receiver without a shadow of a doubt. They lost some good talent here. Pretty much your top two receivers are gone at this point, essentially. Pending Tyreek Hill news and what he decides to do and what happens with that situation. Um, I have
Are they
them going a
cutting?
different way because, huh? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure they cut Hill.
Oh, they did they already cut him? Okay, I might have missed that, ladies and gentlemen. Maybe I did. Um, But what I'm saying is though, in order for the wide receivers to get open and to even do anything, the quarterback needs time. And if Tua proved anything by taking so many sacks that he almost died on several different occasions, I have them going a different way. Still on offense, I have them taking Olia Vega Leon, a guard. I think they need a lot of help on the line. I think you get one of the guys who's most NFL ready, who you can really slide amongst the first three positions. He can play right guard, left guard. He can play a little center. He's done it. I think you need to solidify who's ever going to be behind them taking the snaps because if they don't have no time, it doesn't matter who's playing receiver. So I have them going guard with this pick.
Got you. That's not a bad choice. Number 12, Cowboys. I've got Delane, cornerback. I think they try to help that little secondary out there. Try to help. After you lose some on defense, you got to try to replace them. So I think they try to help that secondary.
Yeah, no, and that would definitely be a wonderful pick because they definitely need the help. And I also went in the secondary with this, but I went to the top of the secondary to a position called safety, and I have the Cowboys selected Dylan Thieneman.
Mm.
He's a guy here who's a short tackler. I believe he had about 96 tackles last year. Uh, Maybe four tackles for loss, something like that. He's a guy here who's pro ready, who you can plug in and who can change your defense as well. He's not Caleb Downs level, because like I said, he's all world, but Dylan Thieneman has all pro written all over him. I think that he's uh, a great coverage safety, but he'll also put you down. And that's definitely something Dallas needs because they've getting they I can count to a million how many times receivers get over the top of them. So they definitely need the help, and I think that he'll be the solution that they need.
Yeah, I think it's a good choice. You can't go wrong with that. I was pretty high on him as well, so I'm glad to see him go a little higher than I had expected.
Oh yeah.
Number 13 for the Los Angeles Rams, I've got them going wide receiver with Cooper Jr.
Oh, okay. Look at that. Another Indiana off the board. Great possession receiver. Another guy who's good with yards after the catch. I can't really say too many bad things about him. He's a solid pick, honestly. I really can't be mad at that. Especially depending on what's happening with Puka and some other things going on. You might want to re up on that position. I have them going a different way though, because if Matthew Stafford is really just playing out his last days and stuff, you want to make sure that he's really protected and have protection going forward for the future. I have them selecting Francis Malinova, tackle. I believe that he's somebody who's going to keep the quarterback clean. He's somebody who can push your run game upfield. And that's something that they're going to need, especially if they're going to have wide receiver troubles if they don't go receiver there. So I love your pick, to be honest with you. But I just like on the last one, I think, like I said, if any receiver is going to be good, they're going to have to keep the quarterback clean. So I'm going mine on.
Right. Yeah, I like that. And it's an impact player season one. And it is a win now moment for the Rams, so I can see that happening.
Oh, yeah.
Number 14, Baltimore Ravens. I've got Leon. I think they try to shore up that offensive line a little bit, try to help out Lamar and uh, Derrick Henry.
You had cut out there for a second, Mr. Casey. I didn't hear you pick.
Oh, I've got I can't pronounce his first name. Offensive lineman Leon. I
Oh,
can't say
Ali
his name.
Vega, the same one. Yeah, the one who I took him earlier. Ali Vega. Ali Vega.
Yeah, yeah. I feel bad.
Yeah.
I should have prepared pronounce his name better. He deserves a little respect on his name being drafted and whatnot. So that is my bad. But I think the Ravens they go offensive line here. I think they see the run and try to help it out a little bit.
No, and I'm right there with you. That would be a solid pick. I have them going a different direction, but still on the line. I have them selecting Spencer Fano. I think that he fits more the Raven mold. He's really big. They love Islanders out there. No offense to anyone by saying that. You talk about a guy who's an absolute dog. Like I said, another guy who can push your run game forward. And if you really want to help Lamar in that offense turn and get that two-headed rush monster rolling, you want a guy like Fano out there who's pushing people straight to the turf and getting to the next level. Um, Solid pick either way. You can't go wrong with either one because they're both going to do the same for your offense. At this point, it's just about preference and maybe character.
Yeah, and I think the only difference might have been in your draft is you had him off the board already. So that I think
Yeah.
maybe I'm hoping the Ravens get a little lucky with him. Number 15, we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're going to go on the defensive line and get Messidor from University of Miami.
And ladies and gentlemen, that's another bold prediction straight down the gullet. Union moment. I have them also going to King Messidor, another dude at DN who's an absolute game changer. He's a guy who you can count on. Run defense, getting to the quarterback here, relentless motor. He's a guy who's really pro ready. A solid pick, and if he's there, you definitely must take.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of value for being that late in this draft, is what I think. Is
Oh
so
yeah,
shout. Who'd you? Oh yeah, that's right. You had him too. Duh.
yeah.
Number 16, we have the Jets. I've got KC Concepcion, Mr. Kevin.
Casey Concepcion, wide receiver. He is a solid pick here. They desperately need the help at receiver. You got to get more talent out there, especially if you can't get another Buckeye out there. Um, I have them going with a different receiver, though. I believe this is where Jordan Tyson lands. I think Jordan Tyson will be the receiver that they would need, and I believe not that his draft value is hurt, but I believe that he has a real chance to fall to them. And they don't have to take him with his first pick. And I believe that you shore up two spots. For sure, the Jets are historically known to fuck shit up. But in this draft, there's absolutely no way with these blue chippers that they should mess up because they can get two blue chip players. This is what they have to do. If you can get Jordan Tyson and he's there, New York, you better get him because you will need him and he will change your offense.
Yeah,
Get
I mean,
Elo some help.
I took him off my board way earlier than that. So if he's available there, I'm running to the board there too. Like that's a good one.
Oh,
Number
yeah.
17, Detroit Lions. I got them going offensive line with Proctor.
Ooh, okay. Oh yeah. A guy who's got a lot of upside, a lot of potential. He's still kind of raw in certain areas. Um, he's really a solid pick, honestly. He's a guy who you can mold for your franchise for the future to come. Um, I think that if, if he's there, maybe. Because I went a different way. That's the only why I'm saying if he's there, maybe. I have them going with the defensive side of the ball. I have them going with Cassius Howell, DN. I believe they need more help with the pass rush. I believe that they need to shore up some things on their line, and this could be the perfect opportunity to do so. Um, they need help on both sides of that line, but I think this is the direction that they need to go so they can stop being in shootouts.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. I can see that. For number 18, I've got the Minnesota Vikings, and I've got them going with Dylan Thielen or
Mm.
Thieneman out of Oregon as safety.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I've already talked about Dylan Thieleman. Like I said, there's nothing bad I can say about him. An absolute stud at safety, a guy who's a game changer for your defense. And I mean, as soon as he gets there, kind of plug and play. Um, I have them also going safety though. I just have them going with a different one, Emmanuel McNeil Warren. I think that they want a guy who's bigger out there. He's more like a oh, his name escapes me. What was his name for the Seahawks? Legion of Boom.
Oh,
Man, I'm so sorry for. I can't believe I can't call his name right now.
yeah,
Uh,
it's not.
but shades of him and Brian Dawkins, in my opinion. But a guy who goes and gets the ball. He's a pick magnet. He's a guy who floods to the, well, not floods to the ball, but he runs straight to the ball. He floods running lanes. Like he's an absolute stud of safety as well. I think that he's the third best safety on the board. That's why he falls here at 18 to them.
Yeah, and for pick 19, we have the Carolina Panthers, and I've got McNeil going to them. I think you just said that he's going to Carolina.
mm. Like I said, not a bad pick at all here. I have Carolina also taking a defensive player here, but it's a Buckeye. I believe they're going D tackle, Caden McDonald. They need a guy down there in the trenches who can win. And he's proven that he is one of those winners. You need a young guy down there who you can get for 5 years, who's going to be a stud for all 5 years. So, uh, definitely not a lot of help needed in a lot of places. I believe they go deep tackle here.
I can see that. That makes sense. Number 20, the Dallas Cowboys, America's team. I've got them going with Howell, the defensive end from uh,
Ooh,
from,
gotcha. Yeah, like I said, a guy who can shore up a defense, great pass rush, great run stopper, all of that here. I have them going a different direction. I have them going with a corner, and that corner is Avion Terrell from Clemson. They desperately need help in the secondary. I think you go defense twice. Like I said, they get Thieneman, and they can get him, and they can shore up their defense because the wide receiver room is not in question. The offense at this point is not in question. We know Dallas can score. Yeah, well, sometimes and real effectively.
yeah,
But that
yeah,
defense needs all the help it can get. And if you can get another blue chip prospect right here, a guy who can also play both sides, who can kind of do of a lot, he's not afraid to tackle. I think you draft him and you go ahead and shore up your secondary more than you already did with the.
yeah. I feel like the Cowboys defense can use something on their defensive line. Some kind of game record that's really, kind of elite. A guy like Parsons. If you could find a guy like Parsons, I don't know how the Cowboys could ever find a guy like him, but if they ever could, you usually would like want to draft that guy and use him. But here we are,
He,
throw dart.
he he's already off the board. Arville Reese. They have no chance. That's where he's at. He's already off the board.
Uh, to pick 21, Pittsburgh Steelers. I've got them going to the offensive line with Freeling out of Georgia.
Ooh, Monroe Freeling. Definitely another guy with a lot of potential. He's got a lot of all pro potential written all over him. He needs definitely work too, though he's still kind of raw in certain areas. But he's a guy that you can put in and give him experience and give him playing time who can prove to be a real valuable asset on that line. Um, that's a real solid pick. I went a different direction. I went on the other side of the line here. I think they need help at D tackle, and I think they select Lee Hunter, D tackle from Texas Tech. Another one of those studs from the Red Raider defense. Another guy here who's a run stuffer, big guy, like 6'4", 320, something like that. A dude who's a real run stuffer, a guy who can prevent the quarterbacks from scrambling, pocket collapse, that kind of talent. So if you can get a guy who's a disruptor like that, who can command double teams and kind of free some stuff up for TJ and stuff, you would want to get that because that line is definitely going to need the help.
Yeah, I can see that. That's not a terrible pick. Pittsburgh is a very interesting team. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. It's a whole new ball game, so it's a harder team to
Oh,
pick this year.
oh
Number
yeah.
22, we have the Los Angeles. I almost messed that completely all up. And, they forget where they're from. I have them being a nice, safe, boring pick with Spencer Fanu out of Utah on the offensive line.
Yeah, and I already said I like Spencer Final. He's already off the board on mine here. He's a solid pick on the line, and we're both like-minded again here. I have them also going with the offensive line and tackle. I have them actually selecting Monroe Freeling. Uh, I believe that he's probably going to be a Charger. It just seems like that's his destiny, unfortunately. Um, he's the guy though who's going to shore up the line for him. I can't say much about the talent behind him, at both positions, whether it be quarterback or running back. A lot of overhypeness going on, but that's a whole nother different show, different story apparently. But Monroe Freeling is heading to sunny California.
Mm. It's not a bad place to go. Not a bad place to
No.
go. Pick number 23, Philadelphia Eagles. I've got them going on the offensive line as well with Blake Miller out of Clemson.
Ooh, yeah, that's a definitely good pick. Knowing them and knowing how they like to push tush and stuff like that, you want to make sure there's enough beef in the front. No homo on that. I'm sorry if that's not PG anymore. I'm just old school. I was born in '89. So anywho, that's another story. But yeah, that's a solid pick here. I can't really be mad at that. I have them going a different way on offense, though. I have them going wide receiver. This is where Omar Cooper Jr. fell for me. They got enough wide receiver trouble. We don't know what's going on with AJ at this point, and if a trade is imminent in that situation, I believe that they're going to try to continue to surround Jalen with talent, especially if they hope to win another Super Bowl in the near future or any time at all. Um, I believe Omar is an Eagle. Like he fits the bill. He looks like he should be an Eagle. And I know that sounds vague as far as the description, but that's just kind of what it is.
Right. And that'd be a good landing spot for him. I could see that being a good matchup. So that'd be an interesting pick for them. Pick number 24, we've got the Cleveland Browns. I've got them going cornerback with McCoy out of Tennessee.
Ooh, okay. That's not a bad pick either. Definitely could use the help as far as well, they need a lot of help everywhere to be honest. But this could be a solid pick for them. I did go a different direction here. I figured that they need more help up front, and I'm going Caden Proctor here. Um, Protection is key, especially if you're in the midst of trying to contend or hoping to at least start contending. This is really kind of the only direction that you can go. Well, not the only one. Let me not say that, but this is the direction you should go, in my opinion.
I mean, if you're going to protect a young quarterback, it's a good move. I can hear you there. It's hard to, and for me, it's like everybody wants to talk about standards, and we're supposed to, like, it's just like, what are we looking at here? Like, we
Man,
just, it's in the Super Bowl. We see what happens when you go, oh, this quarterback's supposed to be good. Oh, he's trash. And it's like, is he trash, or are we just looking around and realizing where we're at? Is that what's going on?
thing,
I
a victim of
don't know.
circumstance, because you know me, I've always been on the Darnold train. I'm just like victim of it matters in the NFL. It matters where you play, and I don't care what no one says. It definitely matters where you play because there's only a few players with enough talent to transcend the limitations of where they are. But in most situations, it definitely matters. You can't like if you're the Jets and God bless them, I hope, like I said, they got the chance this year in this draft. But if you landed in New York, in the New York Jets anytime after Joe Namath, I'm so sorry. That's all I got to say. I am so sorry.
Yeah. Shout out to the only quarterback getting taken off the board. Uh, not to be a bold prediction, but I'm gonna. I hate to be the bearer of bad news to tell you how this is gonna work out. Number
Oh
20,
man.
we have the Chicago Bears. I've got them going on the defensive line with Caleb Banks out of Florida.
Ooh, yeah. They could definitely use the help there. Want to solidify their defense more. Um, and that's not a bad pick at all because they could definitely use the help, like I just said. They got a lot of kind of not problem areas, but a lot of areas to address here. I went on the other side of the ball. I went offensive tackle. I think they need Blake Miller. Um, I believe that you want to keep Caleb upright. Prevent me, even though he can make magic scramble, but actually give him more time. to let plays develop and stuff and not have to improvise as much because he's not Patrick Mahomes. But he can make some plays. I'm not doubting his ability, but you want to shore up protection for your future investment, your franchise player, so to speak. So I have them going offensive tackle here.
I don't blame it. They could definitely use it. Number 26, Buffalo Bills. I've got T.J. Parker on the defensive line out of Clemson.
Ooh, well, yeah, Buffalo needs help in general. Um, this will help solidify their defense, which is always overrated as top tier, top tier. It helps solidify a spot. Let me say that. I think it's still going to be trash overall. They need a rehaul in a lot of areas. Um, I have them actually going here. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead. Yours is better.
I actually had them going receiver here. I think they take Denzel Boston. Um, they need another guy who can make plays, especially as bad as they want Josh Allen to be the guy. They need some help for him because every time he gets talent, it's just another Buffalo season. They squander it somehow, one way or another. And even with Denzel Boston going there, and this is just a bias in me, I think it's going to be a tale as old as time. Buffalo's not going to win the Super Bowl. I don't care who they pick, honestly. And that's just no disrespect to Denzel, but that's just what it is. But I think they go wide receiver and they take him.
Yeah, I mean, there's some holes to plug. I just still can't believe they didn't make the Super Bowl. They really let the Pats go back to the Super Bowl. Like, look, we gave you the whole, we entered, you got the whole runway. Nobody is in your way. Nobody can stop you.
Man.
Mm.
And in my opinion, to touch on that, this should stop the whole narrative that only Patrick Mahomes is keeping Josh Allen from a Super Bowl. Josh Allen is keeping Josh Allen from a Super Bowl. I've said it 45 million times. Josh Allen is Philip Rivers 2.0. If you think he's going to win a Super Bowl, you should have checked into a psychiatric ward 5 years ago. Because when he had prolific offense, couldn't get it done. When they had a good offense and the best defense, couldn't get it done. When they say, "Oh, Josh Allen carried them all the way here," no, he couldn't get it done. MVP season, Patrick's not there, Lamar's not in question, Joe Burrow's nowhere to be found, and you lose, and Drake May goes. Stop playing. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing about it. This man is not a top five quarterback, and that's just the bottom line. And if Stone Cold was here, he would have said so.
I think he's top five regular season.
I'll take
Number,
Sam Darnold.
number
Give me Sam
27.
Darnold. Mm-hmm.
Number 27, San Francisco. I've got them going with tight end Kenyon Sadiq out of Oregon. I think your
Ooh,
time.
that's the.
I think a
Go ahead.
nice little two tight end setup will be nice for a couple of years. You know the situation is not only limited, but every season is questionable with health in your tight end room. So I think this gives you an opportunity to give you that kind of Gronk, Aaron Hernandez kind of duo situation that with a running setup, it's really the look you want to be in all the time. Because look, you gonna load up the box or then we're passing with these two tight ends that we got in this wide receiver and the running back too. Like this is a dynamic passing offense in a two tight end setup. And if you go into some kind of cover three or some dime package where you're just so back off the line, like it becomes a run game. It's just perfect setup. Try to you try to set up the perfect little balance of an offense. The dream offense, two tight end setup.
It had to be exactly what it is in San Fran, a dream. because trust they'll find some. I don't think what's the boy name Brock Croyle or Bertie Brody Purdy, whatever the boy name is. It don't even matter. They could get a clone of Randy Moss and put him out there, and it still won't matter. They need to address quarterback, and the sooner they realize it, the better. But I actually had them going a different way. I believe they need more help on the defensive line, especially because of injuries and people leaving and all that other stuff. I think they go Keldrick Falk from Auburn. You need a guy who's down there who can help the Bosa on the other side, and somebody who can dang there. This could be a Tom Mahaly, Justin Houston situation, Tom Mahaly, Jared Allen situation. You know what I'm saying? Two guys who can hit home, who can both stop the run. You need a guy who can put pressure on the quarterback so you guys can stop being the shootouts as well. Make your defense a little more dominant so you can give Brock Purdy a chance to win. Even though, like I said, you can give Randy Moss 2.0, I still won't know. But they're going defense.
Yeah, and I would say in the situation that the Chiefs did go Caleb Downs, Falk was actually the guy I would hope that they went for the defensive end. So like
Mm-hmm.
I'll take that, or so I shout out to him. That's what I'll say about him.
Oh, yeah.
Number 28, we have the Houston Texans. Caden McDonald, defensive line out of the Ohio State. You know what? There wasn't another Ohio State. I thought there was only one on my list. It was two. My bad. My bad.
Yeah, like I said, you know my motto: if you want to win, put a Buckeye in. I'll never be mad at a Buckeye going anywhere. I'm gonna always say it's a solid pick because you're getting a guy who's pro ready. Um, I went a different route though. I believe that they need more protection for the Buckeye. They got a quarterback. I went Caleb Lomu um, from Utah. I think that he's one of the better tackles. Not as talked about as much, but his numbers don't lie. Um, he's super big. He's a guy who's uber athletic. A second level kind of lineman. He shades of Willie Rofe almost. A dude who's big, but he can move. Like so, I believe they need to shore up protection, and then of course open some more running lanes to get that running game going more. I think they go offensive line here.
Yeah. Yeah, I can dig it. I can dig it. And I'm actually hoping the Chiefs trade with the 49ers so we can get Caden McDonald. But for the Chiefs' 29th round pick, I'm going with Peter Woods, defensive line out of Clemson.
Hmm. Oh, he said he want to get a doggy down there.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at it. We need more help on the edge, but he can be a guy who can also generate a lot of pressure. We can finally start collapsing some pockets. Maybe Chris Jones won't have to command double teams, and maybe we can see him get a little bit more productive. I won't never be mad at that, but I believe we had already found the solution with that with Caleb with the ninth pick. So with the 29th pick, I went with Kenyon Sadiq, tight end from Oregon. I believe that we are going to start looking at Travis Kelsey's replacement. I believe that we get a guy who we thought Jody Fortson was going to be, and we capture some more tight end magic, especially like you just mentioned, a two tight end set with Travis Kelsey while he's here. Might even inspire Travis to play another year, keep learning under the goat. But you give Patrick another weapon. Now you don't have to get another wide receiver because you've upgraded another tight end position. The wide receiver you have on the book, we got a Rasheed Rice who won't be civilian scrap because of any court stuff. Xavier Worthy should be able to get open more and everything now. And Thornton's going to be a real part of the offense, especially now since they paid him some money. He won't be on the bench like we all knew he shouldn't have been. Maybe we'll finally see what Jalen Royals does, but Sadiq is the pick here. We need to get back to that offensive juggernautism, and maybe Tyreek comes back. So we'll see.
As much as I did hype up Sadiq for the 49ers, I don't believe he's actually capable of doing it. So really, I'm just, hey, and hopefully this doesn't come by to be one of those clips where we're like, ha ha ha.
Big Ten,
I
baby.
can see the future that happens. Read between the lines. Uh, like I just I'm not a believer in Sadiq personally.
No, I understand. I've seen him play a lot of ball because that's my conference I watch. But dude, I mean, who's the boy that used to play in New Orleans? What was
Jimmy
his
Graham.
name? The first prototype, Jimmy Graham 3.0, man. But he can block. I like it.
Yeah. Oh, Cam Chancellor. Was that who you were thinking about earlier?
Cam Chancellor, yes, sir. Oh Lord, thank you. Yes, Cam Chancellor.
I don't know
Yes,
what it
that's
was.
Emmanuel McNeil Warren. Cam Chancellor. Yes.
Jimmy Graham brought it back. I was like, there we go. I know who he's talking about. So if anybody makes fun of this, it's because you didn't watch 30 minutes later.
Right.
All right. Pick number 30. Miami Dolphins. I'm going Falk out of Auburn defensive line. Oh,
Okay. Because they'll definitely need the help. Like I said, they got a lot of positions they need to fix here. That would be a solid pick for them here. I think any pick they make needs to be on defense at this point. And I actually went corner for them. I have Colton Hood from Tennessee going there. They need to shore up that secondary. Um, it they get toasted more. Well, no, not more than, but they're a highly toasted team. Let's just say that toasted, roasted, flambéed. Either way, they get flamed. They need to solidify their defense in as many ways possible, starting with the secondary, working their way down. I think Colton Hood's the pick.
that's a pretty solid pick. Unfortunately, my phone died, so I don't have my last two picks. So I'm gonna defer to your picks and say those were my
Okay.
two.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so what we got here with the 31st pick here for the New England Patriots, I have them going with TJ Parker, D end. Uh, Patriots definitely need more help with the pass rush and the run defense here. That's one of the things that I believe, in my opinion, kind of set them back as far as the latter of the season, even though they did make it to the Super Bowl. But I believe they could have been a lot better with a lot more pass rush. So I believe TJ Parker is the pick there. And with the 32nd overall pick by your Super Bowl champion Seattle Seahawks, I have them selecting defensive back Brandon Cece. They need more help, especially after all the talent that they lost. Like I said, you need another guy who's capable of being out there by himself that you don't have to worry about if he needs backup. You need a guy who you know can be a lockup corner, even if it takes a little adjustment, because obviously they're coming from college. But this is a guy who's going to catch on sooner rather than later.
Yeah, those sound like solid picks. And then if anyone's super interested, you can look at the comments and I'll let you know what pick 31 and 32 it would look like for me. But that sounds like something I would have said too. Probably not who I would exactly went with, but I like 'em. I like those picks. You make great points, especially for uh, the Seahawks. It's really kind of rough after you win the Super Bowl because you once you know you have a formula, you want to keep the formula. That's the best way
Right.
to explain it. And it's hard to, you look at Chiefs fans when we won it, we started talking about L'Jarius Sneed, and it's so many fans were upset when I was like, he's gone. He's gone. We're getting rid of him. People did not want to hear it because it's the formula. Look, if you start brewing up the recipe, he's part of it and a big part of it. Like, we don't want to get rid of him. So it's hard to be like knowing who and when to let go of someone, just like losing Chanel. Like I think there should have been a
That
way
hurt.
to figure that one out.
You
Like,
In my opinion, that hurt more than McDuffie, dude. I really hurt when Leo. I'm like, dude, we're losing a stud in special teams. I'm like, in defense, I'm like, dude, a dude who always by the ball. Like I said, Washington came up with that. And if they can get Sonny Styles with it, good night.
well, the bummer for losing McDuffie for me was I thought. I already knew we were losing McDuffie. There was no question in my mind that he was gone. But I thought we might still be able to afford Watson. And man, oh man, did the Rams say we want to pay him? Dear Lord, that boy. Hey, shout out to him. I'm never gonna get mad at him for it. Like you got to get that
They
bag.
said we need your whole secondary. I'm surprised they didn't try to get Brian Cook either.
Well, 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 why not? And you can't blame them if you look at the Chiefs secondary, especially those two young cornerbacks. And key word on young, like they both still got a lot of legs, a lot of life left in them. Like they're solid people to pay. And as much as I didn't want to pay McDuffie, if you're going to pay a cornerback, McDuffie's one of the guys you want to pay.
The one to pay. Yeah, the one to pay. You think
Yeah,
them are smart? They smart enough with Patrick Surtain. They know what time it is. Like I said, man, it's just crazy to me. And Brian Cook went to the Bengals. That's absolutely crazy to me. And I'm just like, dude, if we don't get Caleb Downs at 9, what are they gonna do in this secondary?
it'd be
You need
interesting.
Caleb Downs at
Uh,
this point.
But with the secondary, I'm just seeing them through draft histories and just the whole history of the
It's
cornerback.
okay.
It's I'm not worried about the secondary. That's
We,
that's one of my
we,
picks for the Chiefs defensive line is I think that what's going to help the secondary the most is limiting how long that quarterback's going to be able to throw the ball. And I tell you what, Chris Jones, as much as there's not a bigger fan of Chris Jones than me. I'll argue with anybody about who's a bigger fan than me about Chris Jones. But the man needs some serious help. And we can't have another season where Chris Jones is leading the team in sacks. He can't be that guy. Like I'm sorry, I want him to be, and I want him to strive to be. And I want him to be in the conversation of the number of the sack leader of the team. But there should be two. Like both defensive ends should be putting out more than the defensive tackle. Like let's just be honest. That's just
true.
the way it works. He he's he's still good. He still had top three defensive sack numbers, but that's not the elite Chris Jones play. That's not the Aaron Donald, little bit team move version. You know what I mean? Like
Boy,
this is just regular good defensive tackle play. And if that's all you're getting out of your defensive tackle, you need more than Kolofkis. You need another guy on the other end. You need a Frank Clark dog type to, when healthy and when on the field going to put up 12, 15 sacks, something. Start going
right.
for start getting the quarterback. We need 50 sacks. And if you only get them 8 of them for Chris Jones, the numbers ain't going to add up. All right? Like,
Right.
if that's the number one sack guy, it ain't going to work.
And see, and that's why I like this draft because it's really deep with defensive line prospects, and most of them actually are pretty good. And because we do have that second round pick that's higher up, I believe that's where we're going to go get a DN. As far as just conversation sakes for now, because there's going to be plenty of left. Uh, I'm still thinking about Caden Curry from Ohio State, who's still going to be out there. There's going to be a lot of guys who I know can ball out there. So look, man, if Brett Veach missed on this, man, we need to start a petition. There ain't no more in Veach we trust. I don't trust him with the D line. He ain't, like I said, he ain't drafted not one guy on this D line that I've approved of. And y'all can talk whatever you want to say, whatever you want to say, when you want to say it. I don't care.
I thought about looking at a cornerback with pick 29. And because of that reason, I threw another dart at the defensive line. I said, because you know what? I hate to be the odds maker here, but there's a chance we draft both of my defensive lineman picks and they both swing and miss. Like
That's why, look, that's why I don't want us to get Ruben Maine. I believe it's going to be a Breland Speak situation all over again. We get a guy who's highly touted, out of college. Oh, he's an absolute monster, monster. It doesn't matter what about this measurement. He's just an absolute beast. The motor, the this, the that, the this, the that. Swing and miss, strike three. Like, dude, I'm so over it. I'm over it.
I feel like if you swing and miss on him, then the next defensive end's got to be a veteran. And you got to go find you a Frank Clark. Go find Frank
Yeah, I
Clark,
told
whoever.
you.
You
Scrappy
can see
vet.
the Ravens get
Okay,
him. You can see the Ravens get him. I know we can't get
man,
Crosby. Crosby ain't on the
man.
table for us. You won't. They won't allow it. You know, there's no way they'll allow. The Raiders just won't let it happen. But the Ravens,
Cam Jordan.
had no problem. You can go find you a defensive end. Like if we swing and miss on this defensive line again, I'm spend the money. Spend the money. Like just
I'm trying to
like
tell you, like I said, I mean, if you look at our Super Bowl runs, we had a scrappy vet there. T. Sizzle, Frank Clark. You know what I mean? Like, as only this last one, they skated by. They muddled the line. You know what I mean? But, dude, if you don't get if they're not going to sign Cam Jordan, they need to draft a guy who's an absolute stud and who meets the measurements, not take a potential project. We
yeah,
don't
that's
have
why
time for that.
I'm hoping Ruben Bay doesn't go number two, like you said. 'Cause as soon as you
He's
said number
going
two,
to.
no, this draft ain't going the way I want it to, because I'm in trouble. Like I've seen some draft situations where everybody I wanted or thought was acceptable with pick nine was already off the board. Like I've seen that, I've seen that draft, and it really broke my heart because I was like, this is a waste of a top 10 pick. Like it really has the potential. Like we can see a run on these defensive linemen, and like Caleb Downs gone, Tate's gone. Like you start listing a few guys, and like if they're gone, what do what do you do with that pick nine? Like
Man, Makai Lemon. Who's it? David Bailey, who, if he's there,
I'm all right with him too. I'm all right. I'm all
yeah.
right with him. He's a little funky for my liking, but like I said, it's not always a bad thing. Like that can be a character trait. Uh,
Hmm.
it can be a decent one, but like it just and I think wide receiver is a need for the Chiefs. It
Yeah,
is
definitely.
something, but I think we need that defender. Yeah, I want someone on the defensive line.
Yeah. Like I said, we can get a dude who can do all three. If he's there and the Chiefs don't take him, I'm gonna sweet chin music Brett Beach on the street one day. I'm gonna find him and kick his chin straight off. Like I said, you done already missed on Megatron. I mean Megatron Jr. You with McCole Hardman. Like there's so many picks. Like we I'm not even gonna do it. I'm not gonna get upset. Let's just hope this one goes better.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, it's just, and I've seen some mock drafts for the people picking offensive linemen for the Kansas City Chiefs at pick nine. I'm just like, there's
No,
no way. If I swear to
no.
like, I think it's gonna take a bit for me to get off the Brett Veach train. I do a little Brett Veach and I trust him, especially in the later rounds. Pick 4 through 7. I feel a little more in Veach I trust. I feel like he's deep in the bag. He puts a lot of effort to get him deep in the bag. But pick 1 through 3, we've definitely that ain't your time to shine. And like you pick an offensive lineman, especially if you don't start. This ends up being an offensive lineman and it's on the bench. 'Cause that's what everybody that's picking offensive lineman. I'm like, we're picking a bench player for number 9. We got all these holes and we're
Man,
going like, are we trading more? Well, what do we do? Like, what did we? You pick you pick an offensive tackle, Beach, and and I might fly there. We might have a discussion. God damn, boy,
I'm telling
what you do to this
you, I'm
franchise?
I'm kicking his chin straight off his jaw. I'm telling you, there ain't no doubt about
You bad enough. We got $80 million on this offensive line. I'm like, you telling me we're drafting a backup number 9?
it. Yeah. Like
Clickbait.
my Italian brothers say, forget about
Yeah, yeah.
it.
I'm not allowed it.
No. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's your round one uh, mock draft from the Bold Sports Show. Like I said, we're gonna have other ones coming at you. We'll do a 2.0 mock draft. Because as analysts and connoisseurs, we'll switch things up, especially if our first round picks, don't hit the same here. You gotta always have a contingency, and that's what the second mock draft will be. Straight contingency plan. Mr. KC, you got anything else for the folks?
Get excited, folks. It's coming. It's coming around the corner. Better be ready.
Right around it, right around it. Well, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, I'm Dude with the Beard. That's Mr. KC. We're going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.